Death Watch.
Okay, welcome back. So if you remember, we had ended last session with Graham and Fenrith playing a game of cards, and Graham had a vision, and Fenrith didn't notice that Graham had had a vision. He was just upset that he was still losing at his card game. And then Graham asked him, Fenrith, you ever had a vision where you were a silver dragon on the moon? And Fenrith went to answer, but then your vision flashed, and now you find yourself floating, weightless, in a dark, infinite void. In all directions, you see darkness broken by the occasional point of light, and you're filled with an understanding of unknown origin, and you're acutely aware of the distances between these points of light, and you're aware enough to know that without this sudden and unknown understanding, your mind would not even be capable of conceiving distances such as this. And even with this understanding, you're only able to grasp the edges of the enormity, which, in addition to distance, seems somehow to involve time in some manner. So you look below you, and you see the bright, beautiful world cradle below you. And from this distance, it shines in blue and green with white clouds and dark land masses. Wrapped around the entire globe is a thick, glowing white chain, and holding that chain is a titanic being with his feet dug in to the void itself as he leans forward and pulls. And as you focus on the planet again, you see the image shift and then become two. And the new planet is blurry, but certainly the same as the other. And you realize the blur is being caused by its constant struggle against the chain, as cosmic forces attempt to pull it back into phase with the other. And you look back to that titanic being pulling on the chain, and you see the familiar face of your god, Coralon. And as you watch, a bead of sweat forms on his brow and begins to run down his face. And then your vision flashes, and you're back with cards in your hand looking at Graham.
All right. Do I remember what I was going to be responding?
No, you don't remember what he had asked you.
Okay.
So Graham, he just stares at you when you ask that question.
Well, do you
Do I what?
ever get the sense that you're a dragon who lives on the moon?
No. I think that it's just you, Graham. But
Hey, hold on a sec. I had a thought. I've become quite a master at spells. Maybe I should carry that rod of healing around.
that's can you handle the responsibility?
Now I look worried. Well, if you think about it, you can cast your own spells, and then if I got it, I could be somewhere else, closer to somebody else who needs healing. It's very tactical.
I've thought about that often, and I'd be okay with it, but you need to be responsible. You can't use all the cures that are stored in this.
Can't sip from a rod.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I already licked it. It didn't taste as good as the potions. You can count on me.
All right.
is it like licking a battery?
A little tingle.
So how do I take that out of my inventory?
Can you drop it in the party sheet? Is that how it works, Brandon?
You might be able to. You might just have to.
Party sheet inventory.
Try dragging it into the party inventory.
So,
But other than that, I don't have anything else I would add on the watch that bears playing out, I don't think.
okay. Right.
Did
So
that add in?
you've both had your these visions that you have bouncing around in your mind.
Stuff in here.
And Casimir's been unable to get to sleep. Do you want to do anything besides be upset that you're not going to sleep?
Yeah, I figure I probably would have called Fenrith over and see if he could, help me.
All right. Yeah, so Fenrith, Casimir calls you over, and as it turns out, he's not able to remove his armor.
Could I do...
Perhaps
No.
dispel.
Yeah. Let's do that.
That said, though, you may want to save it for yourself so you can sleep.
Yeah, I think you got that ready anyway.
What about break enchantment, maybe? Is this an enchantment?
Well, maybe there's some way we can figure it out. What would that be? Would it be knowledge arcana or spellcraft?
Well, I'll let you use either, honestly. Well, Knowledge Arcana would be better, actually.
All right. Here comes my low roll.
Right. So, are you gonna? Yeah. No. Nothing springs to mind at all for either of you about what might be causing this. I mean, it's certainly not a feature that your armor has revealed before. And let's see. Let me get the time here. So, did you guys were playing cards with what? The ever burning torch?
Yeah, okay, I think it's in there.
I think we were just doing it by our weapons.
It's in there now.
Okay. Yeah, so, it's a mystery. I mean, you can do a heal check. All right, so you're taking a look at all the areas that you can see, sort of like move his armor a little bit, but not much, and see that those little tendrils, they look like really thin wires, honestly. But with that heal check, what you notice is that they seem to follow the general path of what's considered the path of your life force,
Chakra.
Yeah, that sort of a thing in your medical training. That seems to be generally where they're, like, for example, on his wrists, they're going in on the underside of his wrist, but not on the top. That sort of a thing, where they have access to arteries or veins. So
would I be able to discern a way that we could try and remove it?
Yeah, you can discern, to a point. Unfortunately, you don't know what shape these wires take once they're in the skin. They could form a barb or a whatever, you don't know. But if they don't, and they're just sticking straight in, then you could just pull them straight off, probably.
I want to try first with my armor. I want to try and remove something from my arm or leg or something like that.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right. So what I'll need from you, let's do...
There's something where I'm able to see it as those come out.
Okay.
Is this a strength check?
Yeah, well...
Can I assist?
Yeah, you can assist him. Do a strength. Hang on, don't roll yet. I'm going to mess with your rolls.
All right.
And then Fenrith, you do a concentration as well. All right, so you get an aid from Casimir. He helps you, and so we'll say it's like a sabaton around, it's like around your shin or whatever, because then you got a good view at those.
Okay.
So you start pulling, you don't got good leverage, and then, he's pulling, and you get it about 2 inches away from skin, away from the clothing underneath, and you can feel that it's still in there. Like, it's not coming out. And now give me I'll do it. All right, give me a fortitude save.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, so this pain just lances through your body. It's really bad, and you feel it. You feel it running everywhere through your body. I mean, it starts there in your leg for sure, but you feel it racing all through. It's like you've never felt such extreme pain all at one time before. But it does 10 damage to you. But you can feel yourself start to get woozy, like spots in your eyes. Like you might pass out, but you just shake it off. But
does it come off?
Hurts. No. No, it's still stuck on you. So Graham, you see them over there messing around with this. And this, while they're doing that, the mumbling and grumbling stops. And then you hear Bloodtooth in your head again. And he sounds different. His voice sounds different in your head. But he says, if you like this shape better, it's fine with me. And like you look and your Bloodtooth is in the shape of the short spear now. But he says, but it's really up to you.
No, I like the dagger shape now. In fact, I had a question for you, Bloodtooth. I acquired another dagger. How do you feel about that? It's Rohan's dagger. Don't tell him.
Yeah, so you feel that jealousy that you felt before, but it's sort of blunted somehow. But then you get like this sense. He says, "Well, why don't you hold it up and show it to me?" But there's like a dry tone to him saying that you haven't heard before.
Was it just a regular old dagger, Rohan?
I believe they were, yeah.
So yeah, I'll draw it, and I guess I'll hold Bloodtooth up in my right hand and the other dagger up in my left hand. And yeah, do you like talking? Now kiss. And
well, when you go to draw it, like you get it up to hold it up, and it's turned into just like blades of grass.
Wait, sorry, what?
The dagger. It's turned into blades of grass. That's what you pull out of the sheath with the old dagger.
What'd you do to my dagger?
That's what you pull out. It's blades of
You
grass.
can't recognize it as your dagger now. It's blades of grass.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what you go to pull it. And instead of a dagger, you got blades of grass. I mean, you look in your sheath and there's nothing there. But you can hear him do this little chuckle in your head.
What's funny? I could have sworn I stole a dagger from him.
Do a reflex save real quick.
Gonna stab yourself.
Yeah, so Bloodtooth falls out of your hand, and you quickly snatch it with your other hand, and then you realize that you still hold Bloodtooth in your other hand, right? So you're looking at this new one in your hand, and it's just a carbon copy of what Bloodtooth looks like.
Oh, neat.
If you really want to use two,
Right.
then here you go.
Excellent. Why didn't you do that a long time ago? Now that I think about
But
it,
I
there's
warned you about using other weapons. Make a will save.
Now you're gonna stab yourself.
With both of them.
got an 11.
Yeah, so you slice your cheek. So roll damage.
Is he flat-footed?
No, don't do the
No, don't roll damage.
don't do like the special. Just roll damage. Just the 1d4 or whatever.
Okay.
Does
Don't
Bloodtooth say,
sneak
why,
attack yourself.
why do you make me do this to you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you want you don't want the acid on it though?
yeah, that just not like
Not the sneak attack.
don't expend the gems or do a
okay.
sneak attack.
So also was it the +2?
I'll just minus that 2 and do the normal roll then. So 8 damage.
Already targeting yourself too.
Yep. I was prepared.
Yeah. Okay. So, you slash yourself across the cheek, and you hear that when he said, "I told you never to use another weapon." That voice sounded the way it always did before. Didn't sound like the new voice.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like asking your parents for money when they're drunk.
Right.
Well,
Kinda
let's see
altered,
my.
and now they're
I got
back to
some
normal.
role-playing. All right, top side of 10. I'll be like, hey, now look here, Bloodtooth. I carry you. I get you the sneak attacks. It's
All the good kidney blood.
Rohan was talking at length about nature, and he said something about symbiotic relationships. I think it's one of those. So you better play nice.
Okay. Hang on. Yeah, that's good.
So grand.
Is he raising a bit of a ruckus? Are you raising a ruckus while
Well,
you're there?
I've always talked out loud
Yeah.
to Bloodtooth, even though I don't need to.
So I think I'm going to shoot Fenrith like a look.
This was in between. You're like dealing out.
Yeah.
You got a card. You're just
Well,
watching me.
No, we're over there trying to pry off his armor.
Yeah.
All right. So, you say that you can feel the righteous anger, and you feel the sensation of surprise on his end. And then he quiets down and starts muttering to himself. But you can feel the forces of the contest in your mind are in your favor at the moment. Like the message has been received. And then you hear another chuckle from the other voice. And he says, "Well done."
Right. And I'll sheathe the blades and just kind of cross my arms. And
You should tap the back of the blade on a rock or something. Show him who's boss.
So I'll let Casimir know that it seems like the armor's tied into our life force. 'cause I don't know how to remove it, but it damaged my soul.
Well, then perhaps we will go without sleep tonight, Fenrith. It seems like it didn't affect Rohan too bad. Perhaps we can adjust.
I'll continue to think on this and see if we can come up with an option. I'm wondering. So did Rohan actually were you able to remove your armor? No.
Nope. I just forced myself to sleep.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't need to remove his armor. It's light, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we just if it's light, you can just sleep in it. But I couldn't get past the pins and needles from it. So
Rohan's used to it from all the beds of pine needles he sleeps in.
Well, at his level, he just sleeps on porcupines.
In fact, he can't get a good night's sleep unless it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my back doesn't know how to deal with this feather bed. Needs a good root.
That's why I sleep in the lighthouse.
Root support.
All right, so then the time passes and the watch is over.
Yeah, guess I'm staying up.
Okay. And then it would be time for you guys to go to sleep. And Rohan, you wake up and you can't remember ever feeling so terrible. Like you didn't sleep at all.
But he looks over at me and I'm starting to get that Living Dead type of look, like the bags under the eyes, 5 in the morning look.
Yeah, it's got a 5 o'clock shadow already.
Elves don't even grow beards.
Yeah.
They do if they don't get sleep.
Do you have an identify prepared?
Thankfully, I don't think so. I think I switched them out on the last time we got to sleep.
So Rohan, you wake up like you were tired, and so you just sort of fell right to sleep. But you wake up, and the first thought you have is, "Oh yeah, there's
thousands of little needles,
of tiny needles stabbed into my skin from my armor." And so now it's taken on that level of pain where it seems to cover parts of your body that it shouldn't. It seems to extend to parts of your body that it shouldn't.
Like his whole body kind of fell asleep, like he slept on his arm wrong, but now it's coming back awake.
Yeah, something like that. Just extremely painful beyond that.
I'll try to stand up without whimpering.
Yeah.
Could I use True Sight?
Yeah, I mean, do you have...
Or True Seeing? I have it prepared, yeah. But I want to see if I can see anything else looking at this.
Okay.
And then I'd also like to do a detect magic and focus on the barbs.
Okay. So you cast True Seeing, and nothing changes. You don't gather any information from that.
So it says that if I focus on focus my vision, that I could see into the ethereal plane. Can I try that as well? Mainly where the barbs is what I'm looking at, or those pins.
Yeah, I mean you can.
Is there any difference there?
No, that doesn't look any different to you either.
Okay, and then what about with the detect magic? Am I detecting any magic from them specifically?
Well, no, you're detecting the magic from your armor. Like it's as if those are your armor, because they are. It's not separate.
Has the necromancy aura or school been added to our armor?
No,
doesn't seem like it.
No, you don't.
That was a serious question too, by the way.
You don't detect that either.
Okay.
They don't seem
They don't seem vampiric at all.
No, they don't seem different than they've ever been before. Just a little stronger than the last time you viewed them with this spell.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll impart that to Casimir. Is that these are part of the armor. I'm not. It doesn't seem like a separate thing, and I'm not sure at this point.
It's probably best to just conserve our energy then. Perhaps they'll subside. Do not attempt to remove them, Rohan.
I wasn't planning on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an opportunity I didn't want to pass up. Did that dagger remain a blade of grass?
Oh, yeah.
Well, after our exchange, I'll put it back where I found it.
In Rohan's.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna rely on that to escape something.
Yeah.
You'll be like, what?
He'll get grappled. Have to cut his way out of the gullet of a monster. Well, do you know it actually still functions as a dagger, though?
Yeah, I ended up cutting a finger off on it.
All right. So
Wearing it
then,
around.
Graham and Fenrith, are you guys gonna try to get
Try
some
to.
sleep? So you lay down, and you're like, "Oh yeah, my armor is stabbing into me, and I don't like it." So let's get a. Where's your character? Yeah, do a will save.
Nice.
All right. So Fenrith, just like 2 minutes after, like you guys try to get some sleep, you hear Graham already snoozing away over there. Go ahead and do your will save. You had. All right. Yeah, and you're able to fall asleep too.
Okay.
And then you guys are on watch. So, what are you guys going to do while you're on watch? Just sit around?
Yeah.
Do anything important?
Yeah, I figure I basically just kind of sit in my like meditative.
Okay.
The position I take when I meditate just is like my standard sitting. So,
Okay.
Before he starts, I'm going to ask him if I could look at his spell book.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'll pass it to him. Can you even decipher the script, Rohan?
No, but I'm curious about it. My spells work differently, and
Let's see if
this
I can
is curious to me.
cast read magic on someone else.
I have read magic.
Well, then perhaps you should place that upon yourself.
I don't have the spell right now,
Oh.
but I can prepare it for tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I can't, though. So,
Yeah.
well, I don't see me doing much else. So, if you wish, I can help you decipher some of the characters.
Sure. Or at the very least, if you could just point out what some of the spells are and kind of look through them myself.
So, yeah, you're looking at his spell book or whatever. Nothing happens of any importance except you hear the wind, as much of it as you could hear from here, seems to die down a couple hours into your watch,
Okay.
to the point where you can't hear it. But you're a good distance inside, so that doesn't really tell you if it's gone completely, but certainly it seems to have lessened in intensity. Yeah, that's it. So unless you guys are going to do anything else, then the night ends. Graham and Fenrith wake up, but you feel like you didn't sleep at all. You don't regain hit points. You feel
So are we
extremely
fatigued?
not quite yet, but I mean,
Soon.
yeah.
I'd hate to be that guy, but he would be
Yeah.
sleeping in his armor.
Oh, right, you got the full plate. That's right.
So, and it's mithril, so but it's still medium. So,
Okay, so you're fatigued.
I'm fatigued. I might even
Casimir's
be
fatigued.
more than that. I don't know.
No, we'll call it good at fatigued right now.
As soon as I can start to see any kind of visible light from the exit, then I wanted to go and kind of scout out a little bit.
Do you want to move that just a little bit closer or up? Even
How's that?
a little bit better. We're still coming in kind of low on it, but
How's that?
that's better.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, Rowan, you go to scout a bit. You go on about 20 yards down the tunnel and you start to see tracks headed out from the cat. You don't remember seeing her make mosey on down that way, but you can see her tracks right now.
Okay.
And your raven is perched on your shoulder.
Okay.
Don't let those two touch. They'll fuse to each other like our armor to us.
So as you continue down the tunnel, it gets brighter and brighter, and then you come around a corner and you can see outside, and it has that same washed out, faded daytime look that you saw before.
Okay.
The wind is still blowing pretty hard out there, but not like it was yesterday. But beside from the cat tracks, you don't see any.
It was mostly the wind I was checking out. And
Yeah,
just see if it was good to travel.
It's died down a bit now, although it would still be considered a strong wind. which is like 20 to 30 mile per hour winds.
Okay.
It's a strong wind.
Is it constant or is it in gusts?
It's pretty constant.
We're going to come out of this looking like we've been made into leather.
Yeah, well, you do notice that too. Like, there's that really, really fine dust is blowing around out there. So you know that you guys are going to have visibility issues. And with a wind like that, it's going to mess with your bow shots and it'll make it harder to hear.
Oh,
No, we got knocked off our rocks. Or no.
we were off our rocks, but
Yeah, we were off our rocks.
is there still a good chance that we had our goggles and headscarves that we would have been?
Yeah, the stuff you had on, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll make my way back to the camp and I'll suggest that everyone put on their goggles and their wind scarves as if we were riding to help protect against the wind that we'll be walking into.
Yeah, I'll comply with that.
Okay. So, you guys going to head out?
Yep. Got my goggles on.
Well, we don't really have a direction to go, so perhaps you should try to get some good height, Rohan, and see if you can find anything of interest.
Well, with our armor and magic being a little iffy right now, I'd rather not
Well,
try and go too high. There is just one path out until we get up to the plateau, and once we get up there, we can pick our direction.
all right, lead on then.
Okay, I'll lead them
Okay.
up and.
All
hopefully
right,
get
so
out.
you step out of the cave into the open air, into this canyon. The only distance or the only direction where travel's possible is north, where it has a pretty steady incline, as you can see. Now, there's about anywhere between 30 to 70 feet between the canyon walls that rise way up above you. And there's this thick coating of really fine dust all over the ground, which makes just walking sort of difficult because your feet shift when you put them down, put weight on them. Now, the center-ish part of the canyon that you're in still has those rock formations, the arches, but most of them have been destroyed. So there's very few of the completed or intact arches that you can see. But you walk along to the north at that steady incline, and you notice that the canyon walls to either side of you, you can tell as you go that you're getting closer to the top of those, even though the incline is not that steep. But it does make for difficult travel. You don't feel, none of you feel very rested at all. A couple of you feel worse than that. And the dust is blowing in this wind, which is about, like I said, between 20 and 30 miles. We'll say I was going, 22, 23 miles per hour. And so this fine dust is blowing all over you. You've got your goggles and your scarves, which is mandatory to wear. Like, this dust gets into everything, and it would be getting into your lungs now if not for those scarves. And even with the goggles, it still hampers visibility because it's really fine, but there's a lot of it, so it creates these clouds that blow around. And the wind is doing weird things out here too. It seems to be coming from all directions at once because it bounces off the canyon walls and reflects on you. But you go for a mile-ish when the canyon begins to curve to the west a bit. So you're still mostly going north, but after about a mile, you're now out of sight of the cave that you spent the evening in. And let's see. So at this speed, well, you can't guess because you didn't see, but just the basic understanding you got of the lay of the land, Rohan, you think that by the end of the day you'll reach the top.
Okay.
Let's see. The canyon walls, they remain. The distance is pretty constant. And Rohan, you notice that there's clear signs along here of this canyon being formed by water, right? Because you can see the lines of sediment.
Okay.
Let's see. Everybody roll. Well, And how far ahead did you want to be, Rohan?
Not too far.
Not too far.
Yeah, not too far.
Okay.
Within
10,
vision?
15.
Yeah, within vision.
Well, we've got that wind and dust.
Yeah,
too.
so you're...
So I'd probably say no more than about 50 feet.
Yeah, that's about the end of visibility.
Okay. So yeah, as long as Graham can see me.
Okay. Let's see. Graham, you, as the day started, those two voices were arguing again. But after about an hour, they both went quiet. And they haven't said anything since then. But you can still feel the presence of Bloodtooth.
Am I just hearing that like in another room where you can't pick out the words, or do I know what they're arguing about?
No, you can't. You don't know what they're arguing about. You just know that they are arguing about something. But you get a flash. So the way it goes is you're all tired. The dust is blowing. It's stinging your face. You've got your head down. You're just except for Rohan, you got your eyes on your feet. You know, I mean, he's up ahead, but that's basically how you're trudging through this experience here, and you've got the voices arguing in your head. And so you sort of go into that, and you're going at a steady incline, which is, as you know, in real life, when you look at it, it's like no problem, but then you go 10 feet and your life is over. No matter what shape you're in, so forget about it. Anyway, because you're also struggling because you'll put your foot down and you'll slide, so you're not even taking full steps some of the time. It's
getting worse the tireder you get, too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what, and on top of that, now you're sweating, right? And it's sort of stinging like sweat does when it gets into a cut, you know, as it's point. So it's pretty miserable, and you got your head down and you're hearing these voices argue, and then they stop, and you sort of do that thing where your mind goes somewhere else, and it's basically how every miserable experience is weathered by people, is you just put your mind somewhere else and you're tromping along, and you get a vision in your head. I shouldn't say that. So you look up, and right in front of you is a massive, horrific creature, something you've never seen before in your nightmare. You wouldn't have a nightmare in a nightmare and envision such a creature, this massive floating orb with a gaping mouth that you could easily fit into, with needle-sharp teeth, with acid dripping off of them, and a massive eyeball in the center of it, staring right at you. And to make matters worse, all these eye stalks jut off from all sides of it, each ending in a little eye that are twisting this way and that. The sun's gone as you're looking at this thing. The sun's completely disappeared. All the light you can see is coming from it, and it's this sickly, hateful, baleful glow. And that happens in, a split second. Do a will save. All right.
Automatic failure.
Okay, so Rohan, you're up ahead, and Graham's behind you about 50 feet, and then what was it? Casimir brings up the rear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Casimir.
Yeah, so you're back there, and Casimir, the thoughts going through your head are when they're not focused on, how bad it hurts or how tired you are, how angry you are. Like you have this moment where you're like, you get an appreciation for how grumpy your father would get sometimes, and how he just didn't seem like he wanted to put up with, not you, usually
the
you
world,
guys, but your two little brothers.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And sometimes you wondered as a kid, like when you were younger, how come he got so impatient with them, But now you're like, now I get it. And then everybody can. Let me roll it. No, not so. Casimir doesn't hear. So Rohan and Fenrith, you hear a blood-curdling scream. I'm not kidding you. Like the first thought, because you recognize it as Graham's voice, the first thought in your head is that somebody's just killed him.
Again.
I like how I don't hear this. I'm just, I'm too grumpy.
You don't, and so you kind of bump into Fenrith.
Okay.
And you look up, and so when you guys look, Graham's just standing there. He's got his daggers out, and he's stock still, like spooky still. And he's leaning forward a little bit, and he's just looking right in front of him with his daggers up. But there's nothing there. And Graham, you realized that there was nothing there before you actually even reached for your daggers, but you were on a set course, and so now you've got them out, and and so it's like an automatic. It's an immediate understanding, like as the scream comes out, that it's not you're just having a daydream or whatever. It's not a real thing, but too late. I already screamed. I'm already reaching for my daggers. So there you go. That's what you guys see. Is he's back there.
Well, before I see Graham, after I bump into Fenrith, my first thing is just to immediately give him a shove. And then
keep moving. Yeah, so he just bumps right into the back.
Okay.
Right?
How far away is Graham from me?
Well, you guys are walking in normal,
So yeah, I'll reach out and touch his shoulder and ask him what happened.
Nothing happened. What are you talking about?
Nothing happened. What happened to you?
I'll probably be sliding
God, what's your
down
problem,
the
Finn?
hill right now.
Elements.
Yeah.
What did you see? Why do you have your weapons at?
Well, I saw something for a second. I don't know. I was kind of in my own head. Sometimes my daydreams can get pretty intense. But it was like a big floating orb with stalks and eyes at the end of the stalks and mouth with needle sharp teeth. And it felt so real. But look, there's nothing there. So sorry for the scream.
About how long have we been walking?
Yeah, so this will be about noon now.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll make the recommendation that maybe we take a little rest and get some food.
I don't know if we'll be able to find a place where we can eat without.
Have you seen anything?
No, this is just the same stuff until we get to on top of the plateau.
Yeah, the scenery is relatively unchanged. The distances between the walls are pretty uniform. The walls themselves are actually relatively smooth.
We might be able to get a little bit of shelter behind one of the broken arches, but not much respite from this wind.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't even know how I can imagine things like that.
with everything that you've seen in the last month, how long have we been out from Cradle originally?
Just over a month.
Yeah, a little more.
So with everything that you've seen in the last month, then I don't see how everybody isn't seeing things like that.
You all do remember those spiders that appeared out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
There's a small possibility that something actually did appear in front of him. So everyone stay on your guard.
We have that collection of recorded monsters by, who was it? That one hero.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps tonight, if we make camp with some sort of shelter, I can peruse it.
Okay.
That would be a good thought.
See if we can find something similar. But until then, I think we need to keep going. Are you okay with that, Graham?
Yeah, I'll scream if I see him again.
Okay.
You can count on that.
All right. So, yeah, you decide to forego stopping to eat. And then if you want to eat, tell me. But I'll tell you that the idea is ludicrous. There's so much dust.
Oh, lots of extra minerals in the food.
That's true. Yeah. So if you want to, you can eat. But this is the sort of dust blowing that can do damage to your character if it gets into your lungs, right?
Yeah, this will probably be the moment where, if we stop to water ourselves or anything, I'll probably be testing out my new create water ability. How did that work? How does that work?
So you create, I think it was like a gallon or 2 gallons per level of pure water. It's not in any type of container or anything. So
12th level from a ring.
yeah, so
Do you control
24
it?
gallons. Well,
Or is it just
yeah, it's up. Yeah, I don't.
two?
Up to, yeah. So I think
Okay.
that you're able to control how much you actually create at once, right?
Please don't fill out the bag of holding.
So you could do. It says that you could do it in a downpour, or filling like many tiny receptacles. So I imagine you can control the flow as well.
Yeah.
Just as long as the spell is active type of thing.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, I'll do things like I'll take my cap off and I'll fill that and I'll put it over my head full of water because we're all sweaty and warm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
And
good
then
use for it.
I'll just fill my mouth with water and swallow it. And
Well, and if we're anywhere where that dust isn't blowing, seeing that,
if you are walking next to me, I'll hold the ring out to you. You want some?
yeah, sure.
And I'll give him some water.
Suddenly he's waterboarding everyone.
Too much.
24 gallons.
Suddenly he's the water boy. A little, like, almost eerily.
Mama said.
Nice, refreshing H2O.
Well, I am kind of curious when we get those new abilities, do we just know them instantly or
Yeah.
okay.
Is that what
At least these ones
you
did.
can create water
That will?
that will? Nice. Check out mine. Burning hands.
Oh, yours hurts.
Put some
Put
water
it out
on it.
with water.
Are we the Planeteers?
No, you're not. If you were, you'd be dead already.
What was yours?
I'm Earth.
Lightning?
No,
What can you create?
I can make rock not rock.
Oh, nice.
I make it.
Transmute.
Yeah,
What's the distance?
I don't know.
I'd say maybe if we can't find anything good tonight, you can transmute into the wall and he can use his water to dig it out. Yeah.
Water pick?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any pressure to it, though.
I don't know. What do you think?
No,
No?
What is it? A deluge? You might be able to.
Yeah.
just
maybe.
like the weight of gravity, you know.
Yeah, I guess I could keep it constant.
Fill my mouth and I'll spit at the mud.
On a geological timeline, we could do it for sure.
Over enough millennia, you make your own canyon.
We got nothing but time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you transmute into mud, I mean, we could probably dig some of it out.
We've already been here forever anyways.
Well, his ring gives him soften earth and stone,
Okay.
so he don't need water and melt into stone. So, anyway, you continue on, and you don't have any more images like that, but you get this sense of a really smug satisfaction from Bloodtooth, and the arguing has stopped. Right.
Well, I don't know what that's all about, but hey, Bloodtooth, do you see what I see? Did you see that thing that I saw?
Bloodtooth doesn't answer. You can do a will save to try to force him.
Maybe I'll make up for... Did you roll it?
No, I rolled his.
Oh, okay. I rolled a
Is
19
that your
plus
fridge
1.
again?
20.
Yeah, okay. So he doesn't want to answer you, but you like mentally prod him to answer, and finally it's like, yes. I just don't always see it the way you see it.
Well, I describe it to you. Is that what you saw?
What did you see?
You know, it's like a big eye in a big fleshy orb with a bunch of stalks that eyes at the end of them, a mouth filled with needle teeth.
Right. So you describe it, and then you feel a little burst of surprise for a second, and then he just starts laughing, and it goes from a chuckle all the way up to roaring laughter, and
I'll laugh nervously along with them.
yeah, and it doesn't stop, and that goes
This
on.
is out loud, but
Yeah.
my part of the conversation too.
Yeah. Well, the conversation, they can't hear, the wind's blowing in your ears.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Doesn't matter. If we hear that laugh, I'll give Fenrith a tap him on the shoulder and give him a
I'll
weird
look
look.
back and shake my head.
But he doesn't. He laughs for a good 2 or 3 minutes, but he doesn't say anything after that. So you don't quite know what to make of it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Bloodtooth. I thought it was pretty funny too. Ha ha.
Okay. All right. So then time marches on, and so do you. And pretty soon, Rohan, you can see not very long at all after the curve in a westerly direction, It's curved back north, pretty much straight north as near as you can tell it. And you've now reached a point where you can see that from the angle you're at, the top of the wall, the canyon walls, it's getting closer now.
Okay.
Like you'll probably be out of here in a couple hours, which is pretty close. You'll be probably about an hour, maybe 2 hours to nightfall when you come out of this canyon.
Okay.
And the wind is increasing, and so is the dust. So now the wind's going probably close to 30 miles an hour.
All right. What would it take for in-game mechanics for me to kind of push myself harder to get farther ahead of everyone else, to try and get ahead and find a shelter outside of the chasm?
Yeah, you can hustle it up. Let's see.
Yeah, once I see that we're starting to get close to the end, I'd tell the others, like, let the others catch up to me, tell them just keep following the chasm. I'm going to try and push ahead to find some shelter.
Okay.
Take over the 50-foot lead while he's out scouting up above.
Sure.
Okay. Just in case something ends up getting in here that after he goes by. And now that Graham has gone, Casimir, we can
Talk about
discuss what options we have to deal with his apparent insanity.
I was reading an ancient set of parchments that spoke of a taint that was once on the weave of magic. We might have to put him down.
That's probably why he didn't have access until recently. That would explain his actions since being able to cast spells.
All right. So yeah, you set out, and now you're pushing yourself harder so you can get out there and see what you can find. But it's really, really difficult. The wind's blowing harder now, and the dust is thicker. It's hard to see, and it's causing issues with your feet, and you didn't sleep. So by the time you reach the top and you come out onto the flat-ish surface, you've taken a point of damage from pushing yourself. So out here, it's like even worse out here, the wind.
Okay.
Because where you're at now, there's nothing to block it at all. But the dust isn't quite as bad because, I mean, even as you turn and look back down, you can see the effect that the wind bouncing off the walls is having with that dust. It's not as bad up here, but it's still bad enough that, reduces visibility, and, it requires you to wear the scarf across your mouth and the goggles for sure. But so you stand and you look in all directions, and you pretty much just see the same thing in all directions. This flat, or sorry, not flat, that's a bad way to put it. It's just stone everywhere you look, with, holes and chasms and pits and canyons, boulders. Off to the west, at the edge of the horizon, you can see this massive mesa that seems to take up all of the west.
That's still quite a ways off, right?
Yeah, it's really far away.
All right.
And the closest thing you can see that might offer any protection is some rock formations directly south.
Okay.
The direction you came, but up here.
Okay.
So it looks like you'll travel across pretty, it's really uneven, but unobstructed ground to the south until you reach a point where two pillars, I guess is a good way to put it, stick up into the sky. And you can see from here that there's a path between them to carry on to the south.
Okay. And are there any, like, the pits or chasms or anything that I can see that we might be able to use for shelter?
Not from here.
Okay. I'll kind of range out a little bit, check a couple of those, see if I see anything where we could find shelter. And if not, then we'll keep those stone pillars as a thought once the others get up here.
Okay.
If it is softened earth to stone, we could probably cut out a good chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I accidentally deleted my ring, Brandon, so if you can put that.
Oh, it's in there.
It might be in the party sheet.
No, it's in his
ton of
inventory.
stuff.
It's signet ring.
Yeah,
what it's
that's
called.
where it is. There it is. Okay.
That's right. You can just basically carve us a little cavern, can't you?
Well, it depends on if I can do it multiple times in a day or at will type of thing. Because it's only 1 to 4 feet deep, but in 10 foot square. So we could probably stand up and sleep like cone heads.
Okay, so Ron, you range out a bit. So what you see from where you are, if you look to the east, you're pretty much, 100 feet from a stone wall that rises up seemingly infinitely, on the other side of which would be the lands of your childhood. And then to the west, like I described, far out anyway, more immediate, you would get about 500 feet before a sharp drop off of this cliff, and you look out over there and you drop maybe 500 or 600 feet to the ground below. And then that ground there, you're not seeing anything of interest. It's pockmarked with craters and chasms and pits, but nothing that looks like it would provide any form of shelter. In fact, that section you're looking at there looks like the least sheltered and protected area on the whole landmass as far as you can tell.
Okay. Then I'll work my way back to where they should be coming out of the chasm and meet them and tell them that our best bet for shelter is the stone pillars.
Okay. Yeah, so then they come out there, and like I said, now you guys probably have maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours until nightfall. Probably less though. So the one benefit up here in the area you're in is that the ground is not covered with dust. There's nothing to block it from blowing away in the wind. So you've got hard stone that offers pretty good footing, but it does impede your vision quite a bit.
Well, we could kind of make almost a lean-to. I can carve into one of those stone pillars, and we can take the clay out and kind of shape it.
Once we get in there may be more we can work with as well.
Yeah, I guess pillar's a bad way to describe it. It's basically like you'd be walking on relatively flattish ground, and you're at a high point now. But when you get to that area, the walls on either side rise, a couple hundred feet.
Mm-hmm.
So pillars, has the sense of being round. These aren't round; they're just cliff walls. But
yeah,
you've got a little.
Well, we could still carve it slightly into the cliff wall, make it a bit easier on us.
Yeah, and if we can find anywhere where we can actually get inside, you might be able to just close off the door most of the way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So.
It's all right. It doesn't even register on here, so.
Okay.
All right. So you head in that direction, and the rest of you see what I've described. We've got even with the hampered visibility from the dust, when you look to the west, it's not so bad, and you can see a lot of this new landmass that's appeared, and it just seems to be nothing but stone. And you'll probably just make that sheltered area between the two cliffs as the sun's finally gone for the day. Luckily, there aren't any clouds in the sky like the ones that you encountered when you first got here, Graham. So rocks might not be raining from the sky today. Let's see. Let me make a check for you guys. Okay. All right. So you're moving along, and Rohan, you're the first to reach that area, and you get close enough that you can see in between these two walls that rise up above, and you can't tell how far they go to the south. But looking in between them, as far as the dust lets you see, you can see that the space between them seems relatively constant, at least for that first, 50 feet.
Okay.
And
as I start in there, I'm going to try and go in a bit stealthy as much as I can, being wide open in a straight hallway.
Really, yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to, that there's not much. But you sort of hunker down and you move forward.
Yeah.
And you keep your eyes peeled. And as you step in there to where the walls rise up on either side of you, you notice there's like these giant walls that rise straight up, And then inside them, more at a reasonable ground level to you, there's smaller ones, like steps a little bit, for example. But the ground in between them, you've got a good 50 feet or so of flattish space. As you step forward a little bit more, you start to see cracks on the ground. And off to the west now, off to your right, you can see that one of these shelves created, that I described, one of these steps, has a large collection of boulders on it. And they're oddly colored. They don't fit in with the coloring generally. I mean, there's a lot of red ones and brown ones, but you've also got some that have more of a yellowish tinge to them.
Okay.
And that's about all you can see. You do get a glint, that a reflection off of some like crystalline substance in that pile of rocks, but that's as much as you can make out from where you are.
Okay. The first things I'm looking for are just any kind of outcropping. We might be able to set up some sort of a makeshift shelter.
All right. Give me 1 second.
What is it? Is it the rule of 7? I can never remember.
For what?
For survival.
3.
The rule of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you have decided were in the 7 if it was 7 though?
It was
Let's hear 'em.
kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
But
7 days without water.
Yeah. That's pretty intense.
Well, it's like, I think the first one is you'll die within 3 seconds if you don't think.
yeah.
And then 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, 3 hours without shelter comes before water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think I've been outside for longer than 3 hours and lived.
I think they're assuming some... Have you?
Yeah.
I haven't.
So,
I think they're talking about, extreme conditions.
yeah. It's pretty extreme that I
But
went outside.
if you're in a
the
park
first
or
place,
something
though.
on a regular day,
Like,
you're probably not using the
70,
rule of 3.
Yeah.
You're like, wait,
I've got 10 minutes to get home.
where's the shelters?
You just start seeing people on the beach dropping dead as they passed the 3-hour mark.
All right.
That would be pure chaos, man. Just everywhere. Although, what counts as shelter, right? Is a car shelter?
That's why everyone has umbrellas when they're at the beach.
Okay.
See,
I think a car would be shelter.
yeah,
Yeah.
It would
it's
work.
definitely not. Powered
from
off.
cold
It's
anyways.
not climate controlled.
Yeah, cut wind though, which is pretty huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you pile snow up around it if I remember reading right. If you get stranded and your car breaks down.
that makes sense.
So you get real nice and cold and frozen, piling the snow up.
Yeah, and then you
and then
get in
your cold car.
and you get use what little body heat you have to try and warm up the entire interior.
But you're sitting, so you're not getting good circulation. Your feet fall off.
I like the hot, I got a little offline survival manual in my phone. So when everything goes offline, I have my phone's battery life
Yeah.
to have all that information.
Oh, that actually reminds me. You pull the thing off the shelf behind you. There should be a solar-powered phone charger
Oh, nice.
there.
Well, the guide actually includes ways to charge your battery with.
Oh, you actually want it?
Yeah. It's been up there for a couple of days. It should be fully charged.
But the hot weather shelters are awesome because they're just pretty much dig a hole and cover your head with your shirt and lay in the hole. Dogs do it naturally. If you ever see them out in hot, like if you take them camping, that's what they'll do. They just dig a hole and then they're like,
get in it.
Works as a grave if everything
right,
goes wrong.
exactly. I think they're just trying to give you hope by saying it's a shelter,
Yeah.
quote unquote. But really, you're just leaving things better than you found them in death.
All right. Yeah. So, Rowan, as far as you've gone in now, just inside, you're not seeing anything yet that looks like it would provide shelter. You've got a drop off ahead of you that drops off to the right and leads to the ground underneath the shelf on which all those boulders are resting. And then there's another drop off to the left, but there's also a clear path forward, and you can see cracks on the ground straight ahead. And from where you are, you can see that you don't know how deep they are, but they're wide enough to just step over so far.
So there's a drop off to the right and a drop off to the left, and the path just goes straight.
But both of those drop offs still lead into the central path between these walls. But that's as far as you can see with the dust, the way it is right now.
Okay.
And then this is where, now while you're looking at that, that's when the rest of you catch up to them.
Now, underneath one of those drop offs, you said it kind of goes underneath the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
so would we be able to, I don't know, throw up a blanket or something across?
yes. Not across. It's too wide between.
Yeah, I don't mean across the path, but like if there's any kind of...
Yeah. You
okay.
definitely could find something to hang up, a tarp or a blanket or something.
So yeah, we'll try and hunker down, make it reasonably comfortable underneath that shelf.
Okay. Yeah, so you find this little section in between the wall where the ledge is that all those rocks are on, and a smaller one that was on the path you guys were walking. So it's like following the path you were on, you'd step forward to this ledge and it'd be about 20 feet down, and straight across you'd see the other ledge, but in order to get up on top of it would be another 30 feet beyond that. It's about 50 feet tall. And then all those boulders are up there. So they come to, these two walls meet pretty close actually to the extreme edge of this space that you're in. But it makes a nice little sheltered cove for you. The wind's still blowing, and there's still a lot of dust, but you have the flat ground to rest on, and then the two walls rising up on either side of you. You're kind of like in a corner, so protected on three sides. And if you want to use your soften earth or whatever methods, then you can, but you've got about between one wall and the other at the section you've chosen to camp at, you've got 10 feet or so, and then probably 15 feet long ways
Okay.
of a space to camp in.
Well, maybe use soften earth to help us attach the tarp so it's secure, or...
Well, it's still going to go 1 to 4 feet deep.
Yeah.
But I figure we could just hollow it out a bit more. Maybe use it a couple times and maybe get 10 or so feet in to our little cave. We could stack the clay up like at the little entrance we'd be making.
That works. Yeah.
Okay.
Make a scarecrow out of it.
Grant's
Yeah,
making
so
a
now-
snowman or something.
Speaking of crows, Rohan, your raven spent most of the day with his head down your collar because of the wind. But other than that, he seems none the worse for wear. But as you look at him, you realize that it was a rough day for him.
Okay.
Let me roll. And then Casimir, when you go to open your pack, the cat's in there sleeping. So
All right.
she doesn't have a speck of dust on her, so she must have gotten in there before you guys left the cave somehow.
Well, I guess she can stay in there.
Yeah, she certainly seems to think she can.
Yeah, I know.
You know how cats are. So, and you're going to set up a tarp.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're going to do the same watch order.
Mm-hmm.
Cards again, Fenrith.
Yeah, sounds all right.
I mean, very observant, non-distracted watch.
Okay. So, Casimir and Rohan, you been dreading all day the time when you would try to go to sleep again. And now that time has arrived. Let's get will saves from the twos of you.
Oh, here comes exhaustion.
All right. So even you, Rohan, tonight, you just can't manage to go to sleep. So,
Fenrith, how bad did you believe the damage would be?
Well,
It's attached to our souls.
yeah, it's attached to your life force and potentially deadly.
Might be willing to...
Couple more
Is
hours.
the only the other thing that I had thought of is if we using a dagger, we could try and cut out the barbs, but that would take a long time. And who knows if they'll reattach.
Well, perhaps one more day won't hurt me.
You're probably getting like the auditory hallucinations and stuff now.
I guess we have been walking for all day. I'm probably, maybe
It's usually over 24 hours for me. Like sound just gets all weird.
yeah.
I get lots of stuff out of the corner of the vision type stuff. Tighter I get. So. And you screaming suddenly probably doesn't help, but I didn't hear that. So I guess I'll get in my meditative position, but just probably stay awake.
All right. Then what did you guys want to do on your watch?
Playing the
Cards?
game of cards again.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I think I'll join you.
We weren't doing anything, Casimir.
Deal me in.
What? All right.
All right. So the wind picks up and then lets down and picks up and lets down. But the whole time that you guys are playing cards, it's the only thing you can hear, and it's constant. So sometimes it's a little less, but it never goes away. You don't hear any other sounds outside. But then, their watch time ends, and it's time for your guys' watch.
Do you want me to put that inflict serious into your armor? Or save it for now?
Yeah. Well, no. Save your spell slots for now in case you can't sleep. You could
even
try
if I sleep, I still can't prepare, right?
The barbs, no.
Yeah, it depends on, if you're not getting a restful sleep. But if you're going to need to save your spells in case we get in a fight.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't offer it at least last night. So,
All right, let's get a will save from you two, Graham and Fenrith, for your trying to sleep. All right, no luck for you, Graham. You just lay awake and
Keep the card game going. Roll
Yeah,
on.
I'll try to sleep for like an hour, and then I'll come back to the card gathering, and I'll be like, "Hey, any of the rest of you guys having issues with sleeping?
Yeah, scram.
I feel like there's pins and needles everywhere."
yeah.
Yes, scram.
Yeah, so, I mean,
just
it's worse than that because, you've been walking and sweating all day and you can't remove it to
So we're burning head to
wipe
toe.
yourself. Yeah.
Oh, I'm probably in an
You
extreme
don't
state of agitation.
smell good.
We're all
understand.
angry.
I can't go through any of my systems.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when
we're-
he says that, I'm just going to walk and exit the little encampment and sit on the other side of the blanket pissed off.
Okay. All right. But Fenrith, you quickly fall asleep.
Let's all just stare at Fenrith.
He's going to wake up and two blood tooths are going to be coming at it.
And you guys are going to keep playing cards?
Yeah. Apparently increasing states of agitation as the nights go on.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to end up with you're cheating. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me get
31. Man, you're just sleeping like a baby, aren't you?
Yeah.
Until he wakes up and feels like somebody beat him.
3 coup de grace coming his way.
Let's see what you get, John, from me.
You going to fake coup de grace?
So there's the critical. Here's the sneak. So what's your DC? Is it 10 plus the damage dealt?
For what?
Fort save.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember, Graham, you have 2 daggers now.
Yeah, 10 plus the damage dealt.
Does that have to roll a 20? Nope.
Got him.
It's almost like, maybe an old printer.
I think Travis is it sounds like a phone in another room, like one of those old ones that
Rotary
actually,
phones.
yeah.
It's,
It's like a wire coming in or something, you know, an old
Yeah,
telegram.
like I know I've heard it before. It's either like a really old fax or a printer.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you sleep through the rest of that time.
And all time.
Let's
When you wake up, they're all just staring at you.
let's
no.
put rocks in his boots.
Graham coup de grace me, and I
Oh,
had
he
to make
did?
the fort safe.
Just a test run,
It's just in his mind.
Yeah.
along with the beholder.
Yeah. But when I wake up, I will suggest that maybe these can be retracted with by the power of our will.
Okay.
Because think about when they came on. Is at least for me, I mean, I was trying to cast spells that weren't working, and then all of a sudden these things appeared, and I was able to cast. So maybe it was my desire to cast those spells that made me get them at least.
Casimir's eyes are like half lidded, you know, like, so I don't know, like I get an underwater feeling when I'm super tired and I'm feeling it. And so that's kind of what's happening now. Like everything's kind of slow. Fenris saying something, and I'm just kind of just angry.
All right. So you guys are having that conversation. You can the sun's coming out. It's light out. The wind is still howling outside, and at this point you get that. Well, most of you, all of you, you get that what you felt before, like the power is drained out of your weapons and armor, but it's for a split second, and then it flares back in.
Like a light going kind of bad.
Yeah, but when it flares back in, you feel it pulling from you, and this one you notice, like you're going through getting stuff packed away or whatever, like you notice like the ever burning torch doesn't work. Like another potion's gone rancid, and then you have this feeling like it's flickering off, but it flares back, and you feel it pulling from you, and it does 4 damage to each of you. And so this is how you know that whatever the cause, the magic's been turned off again, but your equipment remains working as it draws its power from your life force. Anyway, that's what happens when you're having that conversation.
I don't know how much longer we can keep doing this.
Yeah.
Are we fatigued
I'll
now?
put that to the test. I'll try and focus and will
it
this
on
thing away, Brandon.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you got this idea in your head that somehow through your own force of will, you can force it to stop pulling from your life force. And, so you bow your head and you do whatever, maybe you've got some scriptures or prayers that you recite, and you bend all your will on it, and it works.
So the barbs retract and everything?
Yeah, painfully, but it's that sort of pain that feels good at the same time, like,
Okay. But yeah, I'll
But as it does, the light goes out of it all, and suddenly it's heavier than it's supposed to be. Doesn't sit quite properly. The straps aren't as tight.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna actually start taking it off,
Okay.
and I'll it worked.
What?
Yeah, so that's what you guys see.
What are you
It's just
talking
like,
about?
Can you start it up again?
I'm not sure yet, but I think so. 'Cause, first, though, I'm gonna clean myself off.
It might be wise to see if we can shut this off and take another day, Rohan.
I would not be opposed to that.
But I would like to know if you could start it back up again, Fenrith. I
Well,
wouldn't want to be caught without.
yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and strap back on the few pieces that I took off, and I'll try and will it on.
yeah, so you put those pieces back on, and then you set yourself and you bend your will towards it, and
More damage?
suddenly, it happens. It flares to life, and, all of these needles and pins jab into you.
It's not very comfortable
It does
when you
12,
turn it on.
It does 12 damage to you.
Graham, do you want to use that one?
Yeah.
How much resistance is there in doing this, Fenrith?
I don't know. How would you say I gauged that?
Well, it was
Was it
really
pretty
easy for you
So,
because you rolled a 30 both
Yeah.
times. So
yeah, that's what it
to
didn't
you,
seem
it seemed really easy.
it didn't seem like it was very difficult at all. I just put my mind towards it, and it worked out really well.
All right. So I guess I'll concentrate and try to. Here we go. Will.
All right. So you know, Casimir's like, I'm going to try this. And so you see him, you know, he's got this look of supreme concentration on his face. Nothing seems to be happening, but you get a sudden eureka that you can help him. And the way this comes to you in your mind is that you can help him by channeling the power of Coralon into him.
Okay.
The only way that you can think of to do that is by turn undead.
Okay.
But you're not turning undead, right?
Yeah.
See, what turns the undead is that you're channeling his holy power, and that's usually the only thing it's used for. But you get the eureka while you're watching him that if you channel that while he's doing this, it might help him.
Okay. So let me
Plot twist. I run away.
Yeah.
take a look here and
Burns his face off.
Or you think you ran away, you get a few steps, and then you just kind of fall over and lay there with your eyes kind of open and closing.
Well, I was saying that I was undead.
No,
So do you want me to, I guess, treat it just like a turn check,
probably halfway there right now.
Well,
or just use
it
it?
just uses
Okay.
up one of your turn.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll help him then.
How many do you get per day?
So let's see, 3 plus my charisma, so 5. Or hold on, I think I get it's to the bonus to the check. I think. Let me read that. This is I'd have to take the extra turning feat, which I don't think I did.
So, so you start channeling this, and you guys see this white energy burst out of Fenrith's medallion, and it sort of envelops Casimir. And Casimir, you can feel this amazing, the warmth. It's sort of an indescribable feeling for you, like it might even be raising you up off the ground a little bit. Seems to make you weigh less, and it certainly strips the knowledge of the pain away while you're focused on your armor, and it works. And all these pins and needles, they retract, and your armor, it gains a bunch of weight, and the straps don't fit as right, so it's hanging weird, and it seems heavier than it's ever seen before, especially because you're so tired. But it does work. But Fenrith, that took 3 of your turn undead attempts.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would agree that.
But it took that many because that's how much it didn't take that many because it always will.
Yeah,
it's just that's what was
it
required to help Casimir.
So, I think that I would agree that we should probably spend another day here and just rest without these barbs poking at us.
I'll keep mine on for right now while you all get a little bit of restful sleep, and then.
Oh, I could stand a watch with you.
Okay.
That way we're still doubled up. So I'll turn to Graham and explain that he needs to concentrate on wanting this to end.
Well, that's a problem for me. A lot of times I want to do something, but then I don't. Even though I want to, I still don't.
Just focus on it, Graham.
Don't you have a spell?
I don't.
Okay.
I'll help you as much as I can.
Oh, I already gave up.
All right, so he tries, and
Does he? Does he really try?
you start channeling the energy into them, but you can tell right away that you just don't have enough. It's just not going to happen.
I guess, would he be able to try again?
Yes, this is the method by which it's done.
Okay.
Either succeed or fail. So
Yeah, it's all kind of give him a little pep talk and have him try again.
No, it was worse that time. I could only think about it for a
Didn't
second.
even listen to you. I'm gonna ask him to. So, do we know about Bloodtooth?
I believe he's told us,
Okay.
but I don't know if we.
Do we know
believe
about
him.
him struggling with Bloodtooth? No. Okay.
no.
Yeah, I mean it's the only thing. I really can't think of anything else to help try and focus you.
In kind of an annoyed frustration, I'm going to say, why don't you just ask your dagger to help you?
Okay. Bloodtooth, it's Graham. I'm having a bit of a problem.
I know who it is, you dimwit. This is the other, this is the regular Bloodtooth voice again.
Yeah, well, see, I'm having an issue concentrating.
Yes, that's because you're pathetic.
Well, this isn't helping either.
I have no intention of helping you.
All right. Yeah, he's not into it either.
Do a will save.
Get cut?
Yeah, so like you get that urge to slash yourself again, but you're able to resist it.
Okay.
But you know.
Oh, yeah, it hasn't been healed, so I have like a slash and some acid melt on my cheek.
Well, you've been using those
Oh, yeah, that's true. So
scarves to keep the dust out.
We probably don't notice till you got to take that off and it's like stuck, caked to your cheek.
Yeah, I'll just encourage him to keep trying.
Okay.
You got any techniques? What do you think of?
Well, I
Mostly baseball.
Yeah. I offer prayer.
Think of the ocean.
The ocean.
Yeah, well, basically, I mean, that's it for the day, basically. It's like you've reached a point where you failed enough that you're just not going to be able to get your mind right until the next day.
Could he use magic device it
For what?
to try to shut it off?
Oh, well, I'll not say if he could or not.
Well, there's always a slight delay from when I have an idea to when I can execute it with Graham. This wasn't even my idea, so I won't think of it today.
Okay, well, in that case, me and Graham could hold watch if you want to.
I'll give
You
it a
can turn
shot.
yours off.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
So now that you see that it's possible, it's pretty easy for you to bend your focus towards it.
Okay. So yeah, let's peel my armor off my body and then gratefully curl up on my bedroll.
Okay. So who's staying up to watch?
Me and Graham.
Graham? And you stay here another day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what is it? We meditate for 4 hours?
2.
4.
Thought it was,
4.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of with that
Ring.
yeah.
I can take over after the 4 so you can still get some sleep.
Okay.
Well, unless some healing gets done, it's 8 for all of you. Looks like everybody's taking damage.
Yeah, I mean, I'll ask, or I'll have Graham use the wand then, or wait.
I used it on you already.
Yeah,
see.
he did heal you some.
Yeah.
We could just take the entire day rather than try
think
and
it would
make
be
any
kind of a
forward
waste.
progress.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we can take the day then.
Would Graham be able to make another check for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, maybe after,
Like 18 hours or so?
yeah. That certainly seems like enough time.
For 18 hours, I'm thinking of the sea. Rohan says the sea, waves, seashells, gulls, oars. Take the oars back to the council.
Yeah.
See, I'm already off track.
Boar crashing through the wall.
Javelin! I miss javelins. Bloodtooth won't let me have javelins.
I even got feet so
All
I
right.
could use them.
So, nothing worth talking about happens throughout this extra time you spend resting here. But you do have that thought at some point, Graham. Like, that they're using this, willpower. They're just concentrating on it. And so you do have the idea that maybe you can do it the same way you do with like a wand or whatever.
Trick it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hard work is never the way when you can just fool it into doing what you want.
Or steal someone else's dagger. And
I could steal someone else's willpower.
Yeah. So you're like sitting there and, people are snoring and they're all happy, drooling. And, the cat comes over at some point and sits on your lap and you're just, petting the cat and you're thinking about it. And then all of the pins and needles retract in your armor. It loses its magical qualities. And so it's heavy and, the chains are biting in and it's uncomfortable, but you're petting the cat and you're thinking about how it's got to be possible because you do the same thing with wands. You're not supposed to be able to, but you manage to make them work. And if you should be able to do the same thing with your weapons and armor. And, it's probably about 3 minutes after it worked that you realize that it did.
All right, Graham. Maybe it'll work if you pretend that you're not going to try to wheel it off.
Sneak up on it.
Get around behind it.
I'm not even thinking
I'm
about
not doing
turning this off.
anything.
This is during the time those two are sleeping.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, and if I'm nearby, I'll notice. It's like, you did it.
Yeah, I figured it out.
All right. Then,
You need to have a pause there.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should, they don't have too much longer to sleep before we wake them. So maybe we shouldn't turn yours back on just yet, just in case it proves too difficult.
Okay.
We can just go ahead and, get you. You can start your bedtime routine. How about that?
Yeah. So when we get out of our armors, like when you get out of yours, you wear the heaviest?
Yeah.
Is it like when they cut into an abscess and just the stink washes them?
Probably.
I mean, it's not that
Yours
bad.
is.
He
Yours
wasn't
is
wearing it that
pretty
long.
light.
Yeah.
So
And I'd say he's probably safe because it was magical at the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as heavy. So there's probably like no sores from rubbing and whatnot, chafing. So, but he probably did form pearl from all the dust that was in the air. So.
Nice. Give them to Casimir. He needs them for identifying.
I'm not eating that.
Crush it up, Casimir.
Eat it. Eat it.
Fedrith Pearl. Fedrith Pearl.
Now I can't help but picture all wizards as like those frat boys that are eating and drinking all those weird concoctions as part of the hazing. That's what the spell components are. Hey, come on. Like, you need the bat guano. Like, rub it on your face. You can't cast spells without it, brah.
Yeah, that's rush week at the Wizards Guild.
That's what it was one drunken frat party, and it started working on them one day.
Yeah.
The spells are working.
Well, we know what to do.
Hey, eat this pearl.
nice.
Because like all the potions are alcoholic based too, you'd figure, right? So all that's what they were doing is they were getting drunk,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
hazing each other.
Making people eat cat eyeballs or whatever. Whatever I don't know all the components of these spells, but dare to eat it.
I'm not scared. You're scared. Give it to me.
All right. So we'll do a check for Graham. Are you still going to try and stay up, Graham?
I think we only had a couple hours. I'll probably try to sleep for those 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah. So you quickly fall asleep. And then how long are you going to let him sleep?
So at the 4 hour mark, I'll wake those two up. So he'll be 2 hours asleep by the time I wake them up.
Okay. Yeah. So when you guys wake up, you see that Graham was successful finally in getting his armor up.
Did thinking of the ocean finally make it work for him?
No, he found another way to do it by the same way that he uses, the wands and stuff.
Well, good for him.
Let's see if I can. Yeah. So I'll power mine down then
All right.
and start taking it all off.
Okay. Yeah. So you take yours off and you get to sleep, and a couple hours later, Graham wakes up, and then it's really late when you're all finally awake again. Like probably just after midnight, I suppose.
Yeah, when I start my watch, I'll go through my spell book and start prepping. And
Okay.
if I'm not, or if I'm able to, if I got enough rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you all feel really good. Like you can tell throughout that time that the magic still hasn't turned back on yet. Probably around 2 in the morning-ish, the wind dies down completely. And that's a really eerie sound after getting used to it. Now you don't really hear anything except for your own sounds. A little disconcerting, but what would you like to do now? Are you
Go
going to
back
wait
to
until light to move out or what?
I mean, we can. How much light is there outside for? And are we able to? Is there moonlight or anything?
No, there is no light.
Well, I'd say that's we probably spend a little bit more time in here, and
Yeah, I'd say once we can prepare our spells and anyone that can get as much sleep as possible, then
yeah.
might as well do it while we have the chance.
All right. Well, I have some spells that need to be placed onto the ring, so wait for Graham to wake up so I can do that. And what is it? You want reduce person?
Yeah, let me look at my list here. So, yeah, I think reduce person is the only thing you had to put on it, right?
What all do you have on it right now?
So we're doing invisible, displacement, and reduce person.
All right, so we need displacement as well then. All right, so yeah, those spells will get cast first thing after Graham wakes up into the ring.
All right, Rohan, roll a listen and spot.
You listen and spot.
Okay, so all this is going on, and you hear like a little flutter, and you happen to be looking at the cat, and her eyes get all big, and she's looking up, towards the corner of where the tarp's hanging.
Okay.
And so you look over there, and you see a bat fly into the light and then out of the light.
Okay. I'll pick up my
It's
bow.
the first wildlife you've seen since you got here,
Okay.
besides the cat and the raven.
I'll pick up my bow and just kind of peek out of the tarp.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, you peek out there, and like I said, there's no light except for what you guys have, so
Okay.
you're not seeing anything. And for it to be this dark has to mean that the sky is completely,
No moon, no stars.
Clouded,
or
yeah.
Completely clouded.
yeah. But, you did see it, and, like I said, it's the first wildlife you've seen, so.
It'll actually be very reassuring that we're not the only living things beside those demon creature, whatever they were.
Right. All right, so you're getting some spells prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as you're keeping watch, Rohan, you don't see any more bats, but you do hear them fluttering around the way they do. Like your ears are finely tuned, so you can hear the sound of the sound their wings make as they flutter.
Okay.
All right. You're given displacement and reduced person to Graham.
Mm-hmm.
And where are you putting those, Graham? Those are in
the ring
your
of spell storing.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to do before I speed up time?
I'll probably. Do you want me to put the spell in your armor because we'll have to be awake for that and have it powered back on.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait to see if I can power it back on when we decide to move out.
Okay.
How long did it take you guys to scribe a scroll?
The day,
A level
Yeah.
1?
I believe.
Yeah, roughly
It's a
about
day per level of the spell, right?
Not sure on that. It might be.
See, scroll takes 1 day for each 1,000 gold pieces in its base price.
Mm.
And the base price is the spell level times its caster level times 25 gold pieces.
So then I should be able to scribe 1 read magic over the course of the evening.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
Okay.
I was going to offer my spell components, but you use different spell components for me.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing that might trip me up is not having those. But read magic doesn't really have spell components.
Well, the ink and parchment, maybe you can use my stuff.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right. I think I'm ready.
Okay. Is that the only scroll you're scribing, Rohan?
Yeah, that I don't really have a whole lot I wanted to do with it. I just wanted a read magic available to me.
And what are you doing, Graham?
Other than getting the spells, I was just going through my routine, waiting to set out.
Okay. So finally figured out how your armor is working when the magic is not, and you've figured out how to make it work. And you've gotten your sleep and you've gotten your spells prepared, and the sun has come up, and with it, the wind reappeared. But now it's time to head out. So the question is, are you going to activate your armor now, or are you going to do it later? Because you all know it does hurt when you do it. So,
Well, it also could fail, so I'm going to try to do it now.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Like Fenris said that Graham did it like he activates a wand, so I'm maybe going to try that.
okay.
And I know that he's doing out of character, I know he's doing a skill, but I'm going to just try to do it like how I activate wands as a wizard. Yeah, so see if that works.
Oh, so not use magic device?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those confounding things, but
Just kind of slips through the fingers.
just doesn't work for you. For some reason, it, you know, works for him, but doesn't have the same effect for you.
Then I'll try the old willpower and see if I can get this armor jump started here. Nope.
All right. So Casimir, he focuses his will on getting it reactivated, and it happens
Oh, okay.
really easily, but it deals you 11 damage.
I put my will in there too, Bryn.
And
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, that works for all of you. So Fenrith, 14 damage. Rohan, 14 damage.
Perhaps Graham had the right idea with sipping on the potions.
And Graham, 8 damage. So yeah, it's extraordinarily painful no matter how you slice it. But when you think about how hard it was to turn it off, it's way easier to turn it on. So at least you know that.
Okay.
But yeah, all these pins and needles jab into you, and you know, you feel like they're wrapping themselves around your bones even. It's pretty painful, but your armor and your weapons, you know, they flare to life, and you know, their weight is lessened and they fit better and they feel more like a part of you.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll put my goggles and wrap my headscarf around me and nod to Rohan.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast
Oh, yeah.
inflict serious wounds into mine and Casimir's armor.
Gotta be real careful on the wording. One slip up and you cast it on me.
Yeah, it's into the armor for the spell storing.
Okay. You guys got that? All right. And then you step out, put your blankie away.
No, I drag that around.
Yeah.
He calls it covering our tracks, but we all know.
Mm-hmm. So,
All right.
was it inflict serious?
Inflict serious. That's not what I was trying to do.
All right, caster level 10. But it,
Where are you?
Yeah, I think it's 3d8 damage plus 10, right? Or what's the max on that? 7 or 8?
There you go.
maximum 35.
It's max
Max
is 15.
Oh,
So yeah, so plus 10, 3d8 plus 10.
no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at mass. Could you cast that in my armor?
That's well, the serious one I think is level 7.
Inflict serious.
As I could do mass
I see.
inflict light wounds just as a spell, but not into the armor.
All right, so
I could into my ring.
like I said, the wind had returned, and it's blowing dust around, which reduces your visibility. But when you look out there, Rohan, you see with the dust moving around on the ground and getting kicked up into the air, you can see those boulders up above you and to the west, and then on the flat ground that you'd walk across, one of those cracks that I told you about that looks to be about 3 feet wide from where you are. Easy enough to hop over. No way to know how deep it is, but it is in the way. Everybody's going to have to navigate it. And so you guys, you are heading out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the same normal order.
Yeah.
All right. So roll your spot and listen, and everybody else roll a listen. And then Rohan, okay.
I spotted and listened stuff almost to the best of my ability.
Sight better than me or Graham did.
Sight beyond sight.
My base modifier is better than you guys did.
Okay.
I'm going to trip Rohan
Bet I could concentrate better than you.
and disarm him.
All right. So Rohan,
You have to spot me first.
You're right there.
Real life, Rohan. I'm glad to see that we have the same love.
No, suddenly assaulted by a loading screen.
can you see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the giant Fenris? Oh.
All right. So you guys are just following on. Right behind Casimir is where you, in that corner was where you guys were camping. And Rohan, you're standing in front of that crack and looking down into it. I mean, you can't tell how deep it is because it's pure blackness. And so, you know, there's no way of knowing how far down it goes. But it certainly very far and far enough to be deadly. And you could fit in it. So something to consider. And so you're there looking at it and you're about to warn your companions. And then that's when you hear some noise that sets itself apart from the roaring wind. And it is a large bird over here. And it's perched up on a boulder. It's, large size, like I said. It's a vulture by the looks of it, although it's insane to think of a vulture getting this big. That's the shape it has. It has black feathers. Like a vulture, its plumage doesn't cover the ebony skin of its head. And its wings, they've got an oily, shiny substance on them. And it's got glowing red eyes that it's glaring at you with right now.
Okay.
And then it screeches and it leaps towards you with its talons outstretched. So roll initiative.
This is one of those Final Fantasy birds that just one-shot us.
Which Final Fantasy? Because they all had one.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember the name of the bird.
So are you saying that this is an encounter where we're supposed to die?
No.
I think so.
No, those birds have never appeared in those encounters.
Oh, there it was.
Was it? It's not Zoo. It's one of the ones, though. Right? The ZU birds.
Oh, yeah.
There's another one that I'm definitely thinking of, and I was terrified every time I saw it.
Remember Beastmaster fighting? Was that a bird or an insect? They were like Calip something or others.
Oh, Calabres?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy came and joined our party for a little bit. The ninja, I think he was.
Yeah.
We warned him.
There was no way he couldn't not pull hate. He was all geared up.
Yeah.
Read the room, buddy. We got a bunch of sheep. He apparently had a good enough time, though.
Yeah, I
He
think
just-
it was just a curiosity and he wanted to test something out.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those people hadn't really seen AFK parties too much since like the EverQuest days. I mean, I guess there were some summoner ones, but they were usually burning stuff. They weren't being as slow as we were.
Wasn't somebody like playing another game while we were doing those grinds at the same time?
I think most people were doing something else.
Well, I was usually sitting in the room with Travis and Brandon bashing the game. Oh, man. Good times.
All right. So yeah, Rohan, it shrieks and it comes right for you and it attacks. So it's flying just low enough to get you with its claws and its beak.
It's probably a proto-rock.
So it hits you for 7 damage. And roll a fortitude save for me.
Luckily, I have hardened my fortitude by eating foods I probably shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So it carries on past you and wheels itself around over and does a wide turn. But as it does that, now you guys can't see it, but Rohan, when it turns that direction, that makes it so you can see this one over here.
Okay.
And it's headed in that direction, but it clearly sees you.
These are actually dragons.
Graham, your turn. So you saw for a split second a massive bird swoop down and sort of lazily claw at Rohan's head.
But then
Before it continued on
out of
its
sight.
path. Yeah, you can't see it because the the wall that you guys used for shelter is too tall now.
And only Rohan is aware of this other one.
Right. You're not, so don't metagame.
Okay, well, I guess I'll spend an action to spot around.
Okay.
See what I can see. Looking for threats.
You can't see anything.
All right.
Any threat that you haven't already spotted.
Well, in that case, I'll grab the wand of magic missiles from my bag, and that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Rohan.
So, can I tell if this thing is actually an animal?
No, you cannot tell.
Okay.
I mean, it looks like a vulture, but it's way too big.
All right.
You can't say definitively if it is or not.
I'm going to activate my Ring of Charm Animal. I think that's what it was. Ring of Animal Friendship, which casts Charm Animal.
Okay.
And try to make it friendly. We'll save... Where is it?
Right. So you activate your ring and you cast this, but you just feel it doesn't target this creature. It doesn't have any effect. It doesn't go off like it's supposed to, right? Which you understand to mean that it's not an animal or it's immune.
Okay. So then I'll 5-foot step back to get a little bit more cover from it, and that's my turn.
Okay. Fenrith, so you saw what I described to Graham. A massive bird swoop down and peck at and claw at Rohan's head and then carry on by.
But yeah, I'll say they're not natural beasts.
So I'll move up to here and ready a spell for if it comes back.
Okay. So from there, you can see...
Or I guess, yeah, unless I can see him.
You can see the first one.
Okay.
But let me make something visible for you guys real quick. So you see these little pink spots?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the little pebbles that you're on, Fenrith. Basically, every square that has the pink or the little rocks costs 2 squares. So factor that into your movement. This is rough terrain here, so...
All right, so yeah, and that would have been 20 feet, so single move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Giant.
So that'll help you remember it. And so is that your turn? What were you going to do?
I'm, well, if I can see...
Yeah, you can just see the first one.
All right, so I will cast...
Well, then I could not have 5-footed there, so...
So I will cast Flame Strike on that one.
Okay.
So it'll need a reflex save.
All right. Is this a... Let me look at your...
This will be one of my domain spells.
You're doing this with the domain, the level 5 domain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's set up properly.
Hold on, I gotta get it back now, because when I use it, it disappears it.
Yeah, you push a cast first, usually. Actually, I don't really know. I don't cast too much in spells.
Alright, let me go back into here. Okay.
So do the target it, and then do the cast. And if you've got it targeted, then that will make it roll its save.
Alright.
And then, I don't know if it still works, but sometimes before you deal damage, like if there's a half damage thing, you might want to see if, or make sure you're still targeting it. Because sometimes it will untarget them if they succeed at their save.
Yeah, that was an option. I turned it off, so
Okay.
it shouldn't untarget anymore. So you see this bird and you cast Flame Strike and you see this pillar of flame come down out of the very sky and sweep over this black bird, and you hear a shriek and you see some feathers come to the ground, but it carries on with its flight. It doesn't seem to be knocked off course.
It's a cleric fireball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice spell. Got its save, unfortunately.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So this other one keeps flying in this direction, and then, you lose sight of it. And then you regain sight of it as it comes out this way. And, it's like it was up significantly higher, but it sort of dived down a little bit lower as it headed towards you. And it does it's got like its beak wide open, and this green mist that sort of sets itself off from the dust comes out over, let's see.
Oh, I forgot to look through the monster manual that we got during the our watch.
Mm.
Yeah, so that green mist targets all of you. Let's see. So Fenrith and Casimir and Rohan, this green mist wafts over you, and it feels oily and disgusting, like it's sticking to your skin, and it stinks so bad. But you manage to hold your stomach. Graham, it has a more pronounced effect on you,
Great.
and you
Triggered his OCD.
He starts taking his armor off again.
Just lays down and goes to bed.
yeah, you are nauseated. So let's see if I can find that.
I'm looking at it. Just unable to attack, cast spells, concentrate on spells, or do anything else requiring attention.
Yeah, I'll put it on your.
I can
I'll
take
put the effect on your character, and that'll be for 1d6 rounds,
Does that actually affect Graham since he already can't concentrate on things?
and that's for 5 rounds.
All I got's a single move action.
Are you technically casting spells or concentrating when you're using magic device?
And that brings us to you, Casimir.
All right, I will move up next to Fenrith, and I will cast, or attempt to cast, let's go with Shield. And now we'll go Mirror Image. Do I make my save, or my... Oh, spell failure. No,
Success.
Success, okay.
You got it.
All right, so 1d4 plus 2 images spring into existence. So 5.
Okay.
And that's my turn. Let me pass it on here.
I still haven't got that thing set up to handle it, so we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way for your images.
It's no problem. Unless there's some way that you're talking about like automating when monsters attack type thing.
Yeah, I am. It's made specifically for Pathfinder, so I haven't got it fixed yet.
All right. So
Okay, so brings us back to this one. Now this one wheels around and comes behind you guys. And this one opens its mouth and does that same green, foul-smelling mist.
let's see if that wipes my shadows, or if it's only Final Fantasy that does that.
I think
it might.
they just, for area effects, they don't get affected. They just...
Well, they still take damage.
Yeah, I mean, they can, if they, yeah, but this isn't a damaging thing, so
This is the
Okay.
nausea cloud.
I don't think that they would be affected at all.
I thought it said specifically in the mirror image thing that if the caster gets hit with like fireball or an area affecting, then it doesn't destroy him.
Yeah, well, that at any rate, that's what I'm saying, that this isn't going to have any effect on the images.
Okay.
We don't need to worry about it. And we can look it up later if we want. Oh, ignore that. Ignore that completely. Everybody roll a fortitude save.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, so Fenrith, you succeed. Ron fails. Oh, wait, never mind. So looking at the new rolls after I did that wrong. So Fenrith fails. Let me get these effects on you.
I rolled a 1 and then a 3.
So Fenrith is nauseated. And
We only get a move action.
Oh,
you
so
will be
no attacks.
nauseated
Yeah.
for 3 rounds,
nothing.
Fenrith.
okay.
And Rohan is nauseated.
Great.
So since only one of us can cast spells or attack, do we just try and run?
I'd say we just fall into these holes.
Yeah.
You can't even run.
Rohan,
That's
you're
true.
nauseated for 6 rounds.
Just walk slowly in one direction while they try and kill us?
But Casimir and Graham were fine on this one.
Am I immune to further nauseated effects?
Well, I don't know.
Super
I
nauseated.
don't think so. Like once it's gone, you can be
Right.
nauseated. But yeah, it's not gonna. You don't need to roll next. Well, if there is a next time.
You know, I don't think there is a cap on how sick you can feel once it starts going.
I think there is.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I haven't found it yet anyway,
Well, I guess we'll just say that there is. Graham, your turn.
for game purposes.
Okay, so I just want to move up here, lose myself in the pack, but I'm also keeping an eye out the terrain where I might be able to squeeze into or crawl under or something like that.
Okay.
But that's it for me.
All right, Rohan, your turn.
So I can't attack. I can't cast spells. Being nauseated.
You got a single move action.
Might as well move to the other side of me.
It's like musical chairs. You just keep moving behind somebody else.
Well, there's really no cover anywhere. We've got one behind us, one in front of us. So
What you're saying is I should just get down with the sickness that they're spreading and
I'll move to there. Try and move to the other side of the chasm. Maybe get up against a wall, something.
Okay. Well, we can't have you end on that space where there's blackness beneath you. Or that one.
Do you have the same map as we
I can stay right there.
Are you guys
That's
not?
as far as I can go then.
You guys don't see those lines?
Yeah,
No, I see him, but
Okay. Well, I guess we can say
yeah, that's where I'll go.
here. You can be here.
Okay, I was trying to follow the grid lines.
Yeah.
well, you could also put him in the one with the grid, but he'd have to like balance or something or whatnot to, if he gets attacked or something, risk falling.
Rohan can't do it. He has a wide stride.
Yeah.
All right. That's Rohan's turn. So you're like Ralphin, up chucking as you try to move for cover there. And that,
The only person who didn't get sick is the person who ate the Finrith pearl.
No, I didn't eat the Finrith pearl,
from where you're at, you can see
but I probably could eat the Finrith pearl and not get sick.
this, Rohan. So you've got more of these cracks, and then it looks like a big opening, like a cliff maybe or a pit.
Okay.
And then down on the bottom, you can see these massive crystal formations growing out of the wall. These are greenish blue crystal that you don't recognize. And that brings us to Fenrith.
It says you can't make attacks, but not attacks of opportunity.
go there.
Okay. So this one swoops down over you, Casimir, and it'll do 2 claw attacks.
All right, so a 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah, let's want me to roll a d6?
Yeah, I can if you want.
Yeah, so what number are you?
I'll be 1.
Okay.
All right.
So
If you want, we can keep doing that, and I'll just become 1 and 2, and then 1 through 3.
yeah, we'll do it that way. So
It's destroyed.
yeah, both. Okay. Yeah, so it does that and carries on out of sight.
Do they have reach? Or is that what it is? They're just
Yeah.
super big. Oh.
Yeah, they're large. And that'll bring us to you, Casimir.
I'll ready my net and wait for one to get close and see if I can net it.
Okay.
Maybe drag it down to earth. And let me pass it on. You guys need someone to hold your hair? Huh?
All right.
It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it counted down and the. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
It's when it hits you, yeah.
All right.
It's on their
Unfortunately,
action.
it's 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize how late it was getting,
Oh.
so
Are we gonna?
I think we'll have to quit
Hold
here.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Brandon.
Started up on Graham's, almost Graham's turn.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
Thanks for the game, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
This has been a Death Watch production. Thank you for listening.